just before that, give us at least 3 serious measures that Kenya has to take so that in the 10 years to come that you told us before, we can find ourselves in a place whereby we don't have litters just everywhere. We don't have the waste bottles everywhere. We have a state whereby you can just wake up, decide today I'm going to work in town. You just carry your laptop, go and work straight somewhere whereby even the environment itself, it is giving you we say it is not giving Zimbabwe. And yeah, so give us listen like 3. Wow, guys, we're finally here giving you some awesome conversation. I am Tanvina Lones, and today we'll be talking on about an awesome topic, which is basically on about the environmental conservation and Kenya being one of the country that got to host this year's African Climate Summit. Some things were discussed, but personally, as an individual who you're watching this right about now, do you think Kenya has what it takes to reach the environmental standards of Rwanda? I am joined in with a beautiful personality here. She's an environmentalist. Like everything about her, it is either you go green or go wherever you want to go. Anyway, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So first and foremost, introduce yourself to our viewers watching us from Africa and Canada so that they can get to know who you are, what you do before we get into our conversation of the week.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. My name is Njoroge, also known as Red Lion for those who are on Instagram and social media. I am an environmentalist by profession and by career. Did a diploma in environment management, and that is what I'm focused on in the moment.
Wow. So one can become an environmentalist by profession.
Yeah.
I tell you people, every day I get to learn something new. Anyway, so first of all, like when Kenya got to host the ACS some few months ago, it attracted like a huge attention into Kenya at large, and we kind of saw some changes in our capital, basically. But personally, I don't think that it got to reach the standards of what maybe we as expected. Now, for you as an environmentalist who also got to attend that event, what do you think? What first was your take on about that summit?
Well, the summit was a success, let me say this, and it did much. It did as well as a country because bringing on leaders worldwide
Yeah.
and who focus on climate change and climate action is a huge deal, and it made us rethink about the strategies that have been put in place. Yes.
Wow. And now let's talk first of all about our rivers. Our rivers. Guys, we are doing this take at the awesome John Mishuki Park. Yeah, but we won't be showing you. You can see behind the sceneries, but it is so beautiful. And if we speak less like about the likes of the Nairobi River, we have some of the rivers whereby their starting point, it is usually an awesome spring whereby you can even dodge your hands in there and then drink the water from there. But the longer, usually say the longer, the higher you go, the cooler it becomes. So for the rivers, it's like the more the distance it covers, the more tragic it becomes.
Okay.
So do you think like it will ever come to a point that one day we'll ever come to witness a cleaner river, especially the Nairobi River at large?
Yes. Personally, I do believe, I have hope in cleaning the Nairobi River. Well, it all takes leaders who are willing and who are willing to put in the effort and engage the community at large. Right now, we are seeing what our able governor is doing, Sakaja. He's doing good, but we can put in more measures. You see, wherever you are at, even as an individual, take it as your responsibility. It's not the government's responsibility as a whole.
Yeah.
It's your individual responsibility, and it's your individual part and measures that will bring in the whole change. Yes.
Wow. So have you been to Rwanda? Or okay, have you been even watching on TV, it's like being there. So
Yeah,
have you
virtually.
virtually? So do you ever see one, let's say like in probably how many years to come as an environmentalist in your position, do you think Kenya will ever come to maybe dodge to where Rwanda is right about now?
Oh, That's a tough question, but let me say this: for Kenya to reach Rwanda's league, it will take a lot of effort and a lot of selfless individuals to take the lead. Because if looking at it right now, let's say maybe 20 years, roughly 20 years, but if we put in the expected work and the work indeed, like we just be selfless and just focus on it, it will, let's say 10 years.
10 years to come.
Yeah.
Wow, with the political structure of Kenya after every maybe 5 years, which keeps Kenyans divided and forget about everything.
Sure.
Yeah, and like about 6 or 7 years ago, the plastic papers were banned in Kenya, and we got introduced to using the paper bags that are easily recyclable and at times even can be converted into some useful products. But personally, in my own view, and from the deep research inside the suburbs of Nairobi, some things were never taken serious. And in Rwanda, if you are even caught having a pack of the polythene bag, you get fined a huge fine. So do you think that the Kenyan government thought that it was high time to ban the plastic papers back then, and yet they had not yet figured how on to make sure that this ban goes well on a long-term measure?
Well, let me say this. For the strategy that was put in place about banning plastics is a good one, but then you say there are like also some steps and some measures you have to take.
Yeah.
Other than just putting in the policy, for it to be implemented, you have to bring in the like, what are we going to use now? If it's not plastic,
Yeah.
what else are we using?
Yeah.
I think the government did not like look at it like the further measures. It's kind of like just so like we should ban plastics and that's it. Well, plastic has its advantages to people, and people did not see the disadvantages, the more disadvantages that it has. So that is why we say like the fight against plastic being having some issues here and there, and not being able to implement it as far as the Rwandan government has done. Yes, so it's about implementing and the measures you take after putting in policies. Yes.
Wow. And during the previous governor, Sonko, he used to use this measure whereby every month we used to have at least one cleanup day. And of which at times it usually happened in the markets where he got to inspect generally. Now for the Rwandan state, they usually set aside one day whereby no business is allowed to open until 11 a.m. Now, let's bring it now to Kenya. For a Kenyan to be told to shut his or her business till 11, first of all, the government will have that mentality of the huge amount of money that it will be losing, you see. And maybe some of the youths won't give it a deeper thought into getting into the environmental conservation issues. So do you think that it is high time we go back to the strategy that Sonko used to use, like the one that even Anyang' Nyong'o uses still today? And if you visit Kisumu, it is very clean.
Yeah.
It is one of the cleanest counties in Kenya. So do you think, as the heart of Africa, as the capital of Kenya, we need to decide that it is high time that we take these measures into a serious pact?
Yeah, that is awesome and awesome indeed. Because when you look at it that way, the Rwandans have it like every month, every one day in a month, they'll just go out and just clean up the environment.
Yeah.
And that brings a lot of responsibility. It makes you own the environment. Further than just cleaning up the environment and having a clean environment, it gives you a sense of ownership,
Yeah.
which should be instilled in us as Kenyans, because most Kenyans apparently they don't have the sense of ownership. They just think cleaning the environment is part of like the environment what wakanjo. Let me just put it like that. Hiyo ni kazi ya kanjo. That is what, like, even us in school when we study environmental management, we like other people doing other courses will be like, nyi mnaenda mkue kanjo.
Yeah.
So like kuokota takataka hiyo ni kazi yenyu, si kazi yetu. So the sense of ownership literally brings up, and that is something that the current governor should think about it, and not only in Nairobi, even in other counties and in other like places, we should like come up with that strategy, which is really going to help us and also bring us together as a country. Because in such occasions, you find that people meet each other, they know each other. Maybe you can be living in a place where you don't even know your neighbor.
Yeah.
And well, through the cleanup, you know, oh, kumbe you live here. So those are things that we should just take it like whole, as a whole, and just embrace it, because change is never inevitable. It is a gradual process that we should embrace. To have a cleaner and sustainable environment, we really need to take good measures and like think of it as your personal responsibility. That is what I'll emphasize on. It's all about your personal sorry. I have a cold, but it's all about your personal, like, what is it that drives you to go for that cleanup? Do you want a clean environment? If yes, then go for that cleanup. Those 2-3 hours won't hurt. Yes, and having a clean environment will also boost your business far. Yeah, so that is all I have to say.
Wow. Now let's jump over to the residential standards and especially the living states of the Nairobians at large. And if you look with the living standards of the poor living places like Kibera, places like Dandora, and of late I've been going to Dandora like oftenly, and there is a certain point when you reach, you see a huge pile up of the trash, like it has formed a hill, you see. And at times, I was having a conversation with one of the members who live there, and he told me that if they decide to remove that trash from there, they even make the situation worse. But for you as an environmentalist, what do you think the government can put in place so as they can at least control the waste pollution over there? Because I spent one day in Dandora, and the following day was sick because of the foul smell from that place. And yet, just close to their dump site, people have built their homes there. People have homes there. Children are playing just around there. There are even hospitals built close to that place. So what do you think the government should do so that they can at least control the waste that is basically thrown in Dandora?
Okay. So what I should say is the current waste in Dandora, let's stop thinking as of waste like waste is just waste. Let's put it in a form of waste is money. So basically, while we were in a field training, we usually have field trainings in our school. So in our second semester field training, we went to Dandora, and apparently there are guys who like stay there, and for you're a visitor, you don't stay there. Them, they like wamezoea, and they don't like feel the foul smell of the exactly. They see like you're gonna see people, you're gonna see women, you're gonna see men in the dump site collecting paper and like doing all that. So what I should advise is people should segregate their waste. Like mnagawanisha waste. Kama ni papers, you put them aside. If it's organic waste, you put them aside, because that is what makes it easier for waste recycling. Because even when you say like you're going to move the dump site, where are you going to move it to? That is the big question. Where? You're not taking, that is going to be like bringing a problem and taking it somewhere else, and making it a problem there. That is not what we need. We need to like change this waste. What can we do with this waste? We can transform this waste to energy, right? But now that process of transforming this waste to energy is made difficult by the fact that kuna all types of waste there. There is paper waste, there is electronic waste, there is organic waste in there, which makes it really, really difficult for the recycling companies. So what we need to do is like, in our homes, during collection of trash, we should segregate that waste, so that even those who are recycling that waste should be like, it makes it a seamless process, and just make an income from segregation of waste. So segregation of waste is key point. Yeah.
Wow, 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 wow. So actually in Kenya there are the waste recycling plants in Kenya.
Yeah.
Wow, I only know of the ones that usually make biogas,
Uh-huh.
and there is these the ones that usually shred plastics and then convert them into board-like structures.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those are the only ones that I know. I don't know if Kenya has any other apart
Yeah.
from that.
There is also one in Utawala. It's
Uh-huh.
called Computer for Schools. So Computer for Schools, they like recycle, or let me say reuse, the electronic waste. So they have like waste collections, e-waste collection points in supermarkets. You can find them in supermarkets or anywhere you go. So they recycle like waste. If your computer is broken down and you have no use for it, you take it there, they recycle it. They recycle like everything in that electronic that you have.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. I told you, every day learning something new. And now the government, like, it should basically play, let's say, like a huge role into protecting the environment, right? And right now, you have seen the First Lady as well, in conjunction with the leaders of Kenya. They decided to come up with the, I guess it is the 12 million tree planting scheme, and of which at times we see them do the tree planting once, let's say, like in a month. After the story vanishes and then something else pops out of the blue, then they're back with the same narrative. And taking, for instance, a time like this when the weather, like right about now, the weather it's kind of raining. So do you think it is high time the government to take charge when there are such weather conditions to plant over the trees, or they should just wait until it is their own schedule to tell them on when it is the time to plant?
Okay. Uh, well, the government should take advantage of the season, because having rains and planting a tree right now, you are like promised. For a tree is not like skuma wiki or something that you have to like water it daily. For the tree, when it reaches a certain point, it becomes self-sufficient. It becomes like inaweza jisimamisha.
Yeah.
So the government should take advantage of the current season, like saizi. This is the like appropriate time to go plant trees, spread the message out there, make it like, for the government, ikiamua imeamua.
Yeah,
The message
yeah.
will reach millions of people.
Yeah.
So the government will just take advantage of the season and just like plant those trees like right now when it's raining, so that even when like a month later or 2 months later, when the like rains are not there, we have the trees that have zimeshika ground.
Yeah.
So that they can just take up and just bloom. Yes, that take advantage of the season.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let's now talk about the using the recyclable plastic bottles. And for instance, in parks like this one and other parks around Kenya, usually advised, as long as you don't have the reusable bottles, you cannot enter with it inside. And also, we have seen, especially models nowadays and the fashion industry, it has come up with a way on how models or the fashion designers can showcase on how we can protect our environment at large. And do you think maybe it has been too late for us to notice that we are destroying our environment? Like we never knew what we are doing to the environment. Because if you see, like right about now, when the season is expected to be a sunny season, then that's the season that we are freezing to death. And when we are expecting for us to be freezing, it is when the sun is shining. A time like this, you find that right about in this place, it is cold. When you just drive 100 meters away, the sun is shining over there. Do you think it has been like too late for us to notice on about that it is high time that we start acting?
Let me say this. As long as you're alive, it's never too late. And it's better action now than action that is yet to come. So this is the right time. And let me just say this. It's never too late to do something unless you're dead or something.
Yeah.
So as long as you're alive, it's never too dead. It's never too late. And let me say this. The fashion industry, I'm very grateful for the fashion industry.
Yeah.
Because you see, fashion models and models at large, these are people that the people look up onto.
Yeah.
Like, they are inspired by models. when a person sees a model conserving the environment or thinking about it sustainably, they will be involved, they'll be curious to find out more. And that is how models and the fashion industry like promote growth and promote conservation of the environment. Yeah, it's never too late to do action, to put action, or to do something that it is really in your heart. It's never too late to do something. Yes.
So the first thing, it should start from us, the leaders, and also for the representatives to implement on laws that should better us in order to push the facts on us protecting the environment, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, guys, welcome back after that short instant break. And we are still going on with our conversation here, joined by Michelle. She also does a podcast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so tell our viewers something small about now the podcast that you usually host, what it entails.
Yeah, so guys, I have this podcast. It's called The Pod Show Official. Yeah, it's just The Pod Show. The name podcast, remove cast, and just remain with pod. So it's all about environment and how we can conserve our environment in every small way that we can. It talks about the current situations on the environment, and it's on Spotify, guys. Yeah, you can go check it out. Every week we drop a new podcast. Yes.
So ever since, let's say, like you started hosting now your podcast, how how has it brought an impact to you and also to maybe some of your listeners on how they view the on about the environmental protection?
Okay. Let me say this. It has brought impact because there are some people who never thought that our environment could affect our mental health. And it's something that it is really something that affects our mental health. So people have been giving me reviews about how they are inspired to conserve and protect the environment. And it's something that inspires me to continue, and it makes it like also it also makes me have fun while doing it, knowing that there are people who are inspired by what I do. It is really something.
Wow. So you have told us that you do a podcast, talks about the environmental conservation and everything. And generally now yourself as an environmentalist, where do you see yourself, let's say like generally 5 years to come?
um, that's a good question. As an environmentalist, 5 years to come, I want to be somewhere that I can cause impact. Yes, it doesn't have to be in the government. Maybe in an NGO, maybe an NGO of my own. Yeah, just creating impact and causing impact wherever I go, and having a voice that can be heard and that can be listened to. Yeah.
Wow. Now, these people who are watching you right now, I bet someone wants now to get and know more about you, maybe get to learn something about you, and even to the young upcoming environmentalist who maybe is watching, give them your social handles. And just before that, give us at least 3 serious measures that Kenya has to take so that in the 10 years to come that you told us before, we can find ourselves in a place whereby we don't have litters just everywhere. We don't have the waste bottles everywhere. We have a state whereby you can just wake up, decide to today I'm going to work in town. You just carry your laptop, go and work straight somewhere whereby even the environment itself, it is giving you we say it is not giving Zimbabwe. And yeah, so give us listen like 3 measures that we should take. Yeah.
Well, first of all, the government should put in place policies that are smart. And then, second of all, they should implement these policies because implementation is the key. And thirdly, let it be the responsibility of each and every person, each and every individual to take part in conservation of the environment. Yes.
Now your social handles.
My socials, you can find me at redlion482 on Instagram and Twitter, TikTok. On Instagram and TikTok at redlion482. On Twitter, Twitter, it's Njoro for Njoroge. Then you can also find us at the Pod Show Official on Instagram. Yes.
Wow, guys, the social media handles, they're just on the left side of your screen. Go follow her, get to talk with her, get to chat and know more about her, because very soon she'll be back here and we will be still talking on about environmental conservation. I am Tanvina Lones. Pardon me for my voice today. It is not as spontaneous as you're used, but it is the cold. I told you this weather, it is giving Zimbabwe. Anyway, like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to be here on every Thursday actually from 7:30 till 8:30, whereby we'll be having some awesome conversations with influential people. Bye bye.